Bah. Alright, we are live. Hey, Benny's here. Hello, Benny. How are you, my sibling? What's up? What the fuck should I do today, seeing as there's no video and I'm live streaming instead? I gotta also figure out the delay on this thing. I think there's like 30 seconds between when I speak and when I see your messages. So just hold on, hold your horses with me, okay? While we get rolling. I guess I'll read something, hey. Because I don't really have anything planned. I just press start streaming and unless you want to talk about anything, Benny, because you seem to be the only one here with me right now. I might go grab a book. Hold your horses. I have been doing good, Ben. I'll tell you what I've been doing today. I've helped my friend Yaji. Shout out Yaji, who came over from Melbourne, the other side of Australia, to Perth like 2 weeks ago, and has been living in my studio / temple with my friend / musical friend Grob 1215, or John. So John and Sam have been staying in the apartment, and Sam today, aka Yaji, has just moved into his own apartment. So everyone's got their own space again now. My two disciples, Son and Jam, Sam and John, have their own spaces, from which to proliferate my teachings, etc. I love the dancing Shiva statue as well. Holy shit. I love it so goddamn much. Let's have a little review of the what this motherfucker means. This is the dancing Shiva, or Shiva, Lord of the Dance, I believe, is the symbol. And let me turn the brightness up so maybe we can see the details a bit more. This is an incredible symbol. Let me go through this symbol. What we have here is a depiction of Shiva, a deity, but we're not to think of this deity as a human being like you or I, or like the Buddha or Jesus or anything like this. This being is a symbolic being. It doesn't represent a human. It represents, I guess we could say, the dance of existence. And Shiva is the lord of that dance. Shiva is the creator and the destroyer, and we see that within this symbol. So firstly, you'll notice a little snaky snake right here on Shiva's shoulder. Maybe you can see that there. Where the fuck is it? Oh no, it's up here. Here's the snake. And whenever you see a snake on the shoulder of Shiva, that snake is called Vasuki. And in this particular image, the Vasuki snake is standing up, ready to strike. And this is kind of a scary image, but simultaneously we have Shiva holding up his hand here in a mudra that kind of suggests that we are not to be afraid. So there's this scary thing going on, but we are not to be afraid of that. And meanwhile, in Shiva's top two hands, in one hand here he has a little drum, And this little drum is a symbol of creation, things coming into existence, sound being the originator of existence, which also relates heavily to language being at the base of our reality, because language is based upon sounds originally, before it was ever written down. And still, despite it being written down, it originates in sound. And then Shiva's other hand, contrasting with creation, is a small flame, which here is a symbol of destruction. So Shiva is holding in both hands, diametrically opposed, creation and destruction, and has Vasuki, the cobra, on his shoulder, reared up, ready to strike. That will, in a way in which is supposed to imply that it's what we're seeing is apparently scary to witness, but at the same time Shiva has his hand up saying, do not be afraid of this, the play of what you're witnessing. And what we are witnessing in this image is a symbol of phenomena, of the world of phenomena that arises to an individual. The world in front of us, the world of creation and destruction. This is the dance of existence, which is symbolized here within Shiva. Creation and destruction. But do not be afraid. We see on Shiva's left front hand, the hand is pointing to his raised foot. And this is also symbolic of something. The raised foot is opposed again to the foot that is planted on the ground. And if we look closely, the foot that's planted on the ground, you might not be able to see it there, but it's like a little devil baby looking thing. It looks like Voldemort when he doesn't have a full body, you know what I mean? And what this represents is essentially delusion or ignorance of our own mind. And so what we see here is Shiva stamping down on delusion and ignorance with one foot, allowing the other foot to be free from that delusion, to move forward free from delusion, which is what this the front left hand is pointing down to. And all of this is happening within a circle lined with flames, which we could interpret this image as essentially the infinite energy that is the whole of what existence is. It is a dynamic energy of opposites. That is what the dance of creation and destruction arises within, this phenomenal plane we find ourselves in. So all of that is contained within this symbol, which is goddamn crazy to me. I love looking at this thing so much. To summarize, this image of Shiva dancing symbolizes the play of the world, the energy of existence as creation and destruction, and its apparent its appearance as somewhat of a scary sight, as represented by the snake, but with the knowledge that we should not be fearful of this scary sight of the play of creation and destruction, but instead, if we can be free from our own ignorance and delusion, then perhaps also free from fear. Be not fearful of the play of creation and destruction of this world. Be not fearful of this existence, but be seeking to be free from your delusion, to be free from your ignorance. I love this image so much. Dancing Shiva. Shiva Lord of the Dance or something like that if you want to find it online. Got this bad boy on my birthday with a little Buddha statue, both of them for $100. So, pretty good motherfucking birthday present. So I did a little Shiva explanation. I was going to read a book. Let's see, any motherfuckers here right now? I think I'm just talking to myself at this point. Oh no, a couple of yous here. Let's have a little read. Yeah, I seen that he has been relocated and you were helping him. Yeah, alright, you've probably seen it on his story and shit, yeah. They got a giant one at CERN. Yes, they do. At the, what does CERN stand for again? It's the, I don't know what it is, but some physics or quantum physics thing, right? Research, what is the CERN? The super collider. Right, no shit. What does CERN stand for? European Organization for Nuclear Research. Well, that doesn't stand for CERN. What the hell? Anyway, at the collider thing, they do indeed have one of them, which is very profound. Hey, Basti Toro, if you're still here. I guess we'll read a little bit because not many of you motherfuckers are seeing this yet, so I may as well hang around just in case some more people come in. Yeah, they be combining the timelines. Yeah. Yo, folks. Yo, Harper. Alright, there we go. We got some more of the family in here. I might read a little from this book that I've been reading on and off. It's called, what's it called? Confidence. How to Succeed at Being Yourself. It's a book I found among my mum's collection that I took out because it sounded very interesting a few years ago. And she had never read it, which I feel like she should definitely read it because most people should read it because it's a great book. Let's read a little part from it. Yo, Alex is here as well. Fuck yeah. We're going to read. We're going to do a little ready. Confidence. So this is a little part of this book talking about people are always willing to tell us to live above criticism and to listen to our own drummer. But it is a long leap from good advice to actual independence. How then can your best asset... Hang on, maybe I should just start at the start of this chapter. It's called Coping with Criticism. Do you want to learn how to cope with criticism? Let me know. You got 20 seconds. In fact, I'm just going to start reading, and if I see any yeses in the comments, I'll just continue. This is Coping with Criticism. If we are to gain some sense of independence for ourselves, it is absolutely essential that we learn to handle criticism. Criticism is very difficult for some of us. Very difficult for some of us. All right, good, we're reading. I see you. Thank you. Criticism is very difficult for some of us, and a person's self-image can be devastated by only one negative remark. But with practice, it is possible to learn how to stand secure in the face of our critics. Winston Churchill once wrote about the British General Tudor, who commanded a division facing the Great German Assault of March 1918. The impression I had of him was of an iron peg hammered into the frozen ground, immovable. In the war, the odds were heavily against him, but Tudor knew how to meet an apparently irresistible force. He merely stood firm and let the force expend itself on him. Such strength in the face of difficulties and criticism is necessary if we are to be confident and independent. None of this is altogether new information. People are always telling us to live above criticism and to listen to our own drummer. But it is a long leap from good advice to actual independence. How, then, can you best assert your individuality? Here are some characteristics I have observed in people who lead healthy, non-conformist lives. So yeah, these next few points, which I really enjoyed, are about that exact thing. How to lead your life individually, with individuality. I shaved off my eyebrows and dyed my hair green. I don't give a fuck if my teeth falling out. That's some fucking individuality. That's it, bro. That's non-conformism, man. Power to you. So, what do non-conformists do? They speak their minds. Our conversations might be more interesting if we expressed our opinions more freely. Where, for instance, did we get the idea that in polite society you do not discuss politics and religion? Amen. I fucking love to discuss religion. I don't understand why it's taboo. How in the world are we going to have interesting conversation without discussing such topics as politics and religion? There are cantankerous sorts who disagree merely to start an argument, and I'm not advocating that you be disagreeable out of principle. But for every person who does that, you can point out 200 souls who are boring because they try so hard not to offend anyone. So next, they do a lot of experimenting, these people. Lewis Fisher, the biographer of Gandhi, said that the great Indian leader always reserved the right to differ with himself. That's a great line. Gandhi always said he reserved the right to differ with himself. I would also like to reserve the right to differ with myself. His life was an unending experiment, and Fisher says that he was experimenting even in his 70s. There was nothing stodgy about him. He was not a conforming Hindu or a conforming nationalist or a conforming pacifist. Gandhi was independent, unfettered, unpredictable, hence exciting and difficult. A conversation with him was a voyage of discovery. He dared to go anywhere without a chart. Fuck yeah. Love talking about the existential. Amen. I'll pick and choose my battles if I find that it is worth debating, arguing about. Yeah, of course. That's the interesting thing as well. You can often see that people who are argumenting a certain way of belief or a way of thought, if they argument it in such a way that they're not willing to actually have a conversation, then oftentimes it's not worth arguing, but it's worth just hearing them out at least to see how they could get to such an illogical, from our perspective, understanding, but from their understanding how it's logical. I'm really interested in doing that, because oftentimes when I talk about religion with people, I almost never agree with them. I have a very particular understanding of how the world works, of an entire nature, and religiously, when other people explain their stuff to me, oftentimes I don't agree at all. But their revealing of how they believe the world works reveals to me how they work. And that's supremely interesting to me, because we are each creating our reality based off how we believe things. And that's one of the largest structures of beliefs, how we understand ourselves to exist in the world. Like, I understand myself to exist in this world as an incarnated God, essentially. And that really does put a different lens on how the world appears to me compared to most other people. But inversely, you can look at people's way they understand things, and that it really is a lens into their soul, or at least their ego. Maybe not their soul. The soul transcends all of that stuff. But anyway, Gandhi. We were talking about Gandhi. They say no to others occasionally in order to say yes to themselves. I can't tell you how much of my life is spent at social engagements where I don't really want to be. Someone said this to me recently. Do you mean that these are social obligations required by your work? I replied. No, they're things that friends or relatives are always inviting us to, and we don't want to hurt their feelings. There are always ways to say no with kindness, and even if at times we offend, that is better than living a saccharine life. Let's look up saccharine, because I'm not sure what that means. Saccharine. Meaning. Excessively sweet, okay, or sentimental. So, there are ways to say no with kindness, and even if at times we offend, that is better than living an extremely saccharine life. Okay, an extremely sentimental or sweet, not offending others type of life, in which our actions are directed only by the desires of others. There are times when in order to say yes to the best, we must say no to the good. There are also times when, for the sake of our own identity, we must resist the efforts of people who want to manipulate us. For the sake of our own identity, we must resist the effort of other peoples who wish to manipulate us, to turn us into something we're not. I agree. I ain't gonna talk to the people at my work about Buddhism or something. They'll think I'm talking. Yeah, no shit. Good to see you guys and girls. Hey, what's up, NCB? I would rather be hated for what I am, for loved for what I am not. Who said that one? Sounds familiar, hey. Anthony Brandt tells of a woman. Hang on, I like to just commenting back to you, Benny, when you said you ain't gonna talk to people at your work about Buddhism or something because they think you're talking about terrorists or some shit. I like to with people like this that you know they're gonna look for stink eye at you if you just talk about Buddhism openly with the words of Buddhism. What I like to do is introduce these people to the Buddhist ideas, etc., but never use actual Buddhist words or anything. Just give them the perspective or something alternate that are nothing at all to do with Buddhism. Maybe it's just my way of thinking, it appears to them. But at least that way you can talk to these people about those things without, I don't know, touching a nerve. I feel like that's something I would have to do with my grandparents, like talking about spiritual things. If I was to say, this is from Buddhist ideas, they would be like, oh, no. But if I just talk about Buddhist ideas through Christian words, then they're like, oh, beautiful. But it's the same thing. It's just different labels. And that's what people don't get. You motherfuckers don't get that, do you? Nah, you do. I love you. And that's why you're here with me. When others make such compliance a condition of the relationship, then it may not be worth... Oh, here we go. I skipped a little bit. Anthony tells us of a woman who called oh, wait, what the fuck? No, I must have finished that bit. So, nonconformists and individualists are always learning, forever learning. The great painter Renoir, we'll go with Renoir. His last years were in some ways triumphant for him. Although he had been vilified as one of the early Impressionists, eventually he established a wide reputation and art dealers from all over the world were competing for his work. And yet he would not stop painting. His son, Jean, wrote, "His body became more and more petrified. His hands with the fingers curled inwards could no longer pick up anything. His skin had become so tender that contact with the wooden handle of brush injured him. To avoid this difficulty, he had a little piece of cloth inserted in the hollow of his hand, twisted his finger, gripped rather than held the brush, and it was under these conditions that he painted his Women Bathers, which now sits in the Louvre. He considered it the culmination of his life's work. He felt that in this picture he had summed up all his researches and prepared a springboard from which he could plunge into further researches. From his palette simplified to the last degree and from the minute droppings of colours lost on its surface, issued a splendid dazzling golds and purples." Okay, I'm kind of lost in the describing words now, but you got the thing. It was in his fucked up state at the end of his life that he was still able to create his highest achievements. The day he was died, an infection had developed in his lungs, which kept him to his room. He asked for his paint box and brushes, and he painted the anemones which Nanette, our kind-hearted maid, had gathered for him. For several hours he identified himself with these flowers, and forgot his pain. Then he mentioned for someone to take his brush, and said, "I think I'm beginning to understand something about this." "I think I'm beginning to understand something about it" is a typical remark for creative individualists. Regardless of their age, such people live on the edge of new knowledge, new fields, and new discoveries. Please check the video resolution. We got some comments. Kurt Cobain, amen. No shit. No wonder it sounds familiar. "I would rather be hated for what I am than loved for what I am not. The old lady Rhonda here told me I was the most Christ-like person she knows, and she goes to church weekly. Damn, man. That's dope. The most Christ-like person she knows. They just ain't ready for other religion talk. Yeah, that's it. It's just, they're kind of crusted into the single religion, but they get it, just through their words. Nothing about the book, but what's up with Meanface Earl? I love his stuff, but he have just one album on Spotify. Yeah. I think he's working on a second album now. We talked not too long ago. He's going to send me some opens, hopefully, so I'm also going to be on that album. But, yeah, Meanface. Me and him need to have a talk soon. What's up with Meanface? Other than that, I don't think much is up. Our songs are doing good together. Yeah. Shout out Meanface. I love that dude. My little bro. Noah. Hey, Rays. Hey, Noah. Heard this little thing about not wanting to use the cute Buddha statue because it would go away. Wait. Not wanting to use the cute Buddha statue because it would go away. Funny example because it's about attachment and suffering lesson in a bar, motherfucker. So, yeah, no shit. Impermanence. A lesson of impermanence in washing your hands. I'm going to read a tiny bit more of this just up to where I got up to today and might leave it at that. So individualists, nonconformists, they are always creating something. There is another way to develop your individuality, to carve out time for creative enterprises. Erik Erikson, shout out Anya's Learning. I'm pretty sure Erik Erikson is something to do with child studies. Or language perhaps. Erik Erikson talked about the need when we get older to fight off stagnation with what he called generativity. During some phases of our lives, that need for generativity may be filled by bearing and rearing children. But when we have no children, or when children leave the nest, the need for creativity lingers. Good therapists urge their clients to make as much contact with art and music as possible, and to do more than just look and listen. They should paint, draw, sculpt, and sing. Someone once said that what the world needs was more poor music. By what they meant is that we need more music in the home, created on the spot, and for the sheer fun of it. I really like that. The world needs more poor music. More spontaneous music. Not recorded. Sneaking little lessons in there and everyday things. Child clones. Yeah, no shit. That's the way to do it. You sneak them in. So they don't know that you've taught them anything. Well, you haven't really. No one teaches anyone anything. Nonconformists stray off the beaten path. Do not keep forever on the public road, Alexander Graham Bell once said. Leave the beaten track occasionally and dive into the woods. Well, into the wild you might die, but into the woods, dive into the woods. You will be certain to find something that you've never seen before. John Houston Finley was an individualist who quite literally got off the beaten path. His versatility was remarkable. A teacher at Princeton, a college president at Knox College, and the College of the City of New York, a commissioner of education in New York State, editor for New York Times. He was greatly admired for his walking as well. For example, every year on his birthday, he threw a plaid scarf around his neck and made off hatless on a jaunty loop around Manhattan Island. It is reported that one time a walk measured 72 miles. These people like to be with children. Children are naturally nonconformists, trailing clouds of glory, according to Wordsworth. Jesus doubtless had many reasons for suggesting that we become as little children. But surely one of them was that they can help us think less about other people's opinions and be more spontaneous. When Theodore Roosevelt and his family were in residence at Sagamore Hill, It was also always a boisterous party. One day he took his 4 children on an all-day picnic. The day was warm, but the children had no bathing suits, so Roosevelt permitted them to go swimming in their clothes, and soon, of course, he was swimming in his clothes with them. As he and his children came back to the house dripping with water, Mrs. Roosevelt was heard to remark, "I really do have 5 boys." Individualists and nonconformists often have flair. If we are true to our instincts, most of us will find that we naturally develop certain trademarks. Pat Kennedy recalls this about her mother, Rose. "I remember Mother's goodnight kiss when she'd go out with Daddy. My room was dark and this vision just sort of appeared, smelling absolutely marvelous. I was fascinated by her perfume. We all were. And as the girls grew older, we'd ask what it was, but she would never tell us. Finally, at 75, she told us, and now we all wear it. It is our favorite perfume. But when we started to smell alike, Mother changed hers to something else." Rose Kennedy has lived so long and so well in part because she knows that God did not make us to smell alike, look alike, and act alike. Each of us was created unique, and the discovery and expression of that uniqueness is the one reason we are on this planet. Resisting conformity and developing some small eccentricities is one of the steps to independence and self-confidence. Let me read that again, because I've highlighted it and it makes me excited. Each of us was created... No, I'm going to read the bit before that as well. God, nature, existence, what is, did not make us to smell, look, or act alike. Each of us was created unique, and the discovery and expression of that uniqueness is one reason we are on this planet. Resisting conformity and developing eccentricities is one of the steps to independence and self-confidence. One more time, just that one sentence. Each of us was created unique, and the discovery and expression of that uniqueness is the one reason we are on this planet. Been going for 30 minutes. You want anything else? Little dogs? My beautiful family? Do we have any more wishes before we go off into our day and seek the beauty of the world? To witness the creation and destruction of Shiva's dance? I'm going to try and end this video at 33 minutes and 33 seconds. Yes, if you're always forcing yourself into a certain shape, you'll never see your own. Amen, Benny. Let's not allow our minds to be conformed into the shapes of this world, but allow ourselves to be transformed by that which is beyond this world, by the renewing of our mind, by our consciousness. Much love, family. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here with me. Let's see you soon.